Looking down, the Namakai's half-devil saw the woman running through the snow and instantly dived upon Koyuki before they tumbled, with the end result being Yamato halfway drawn while being a few inches from her famous face. "Go ahead, do it. Strike me down. We both know you've wanted to ever since Sandayu hired the Leaf to watch over me. It saves me the trouble of acting in movies or just ruling over this place for the rest of my life," said Koyuki, as she saw Vergil was angry and was so close to slicing her head off. "That can be arranged. Do not tempt me, princess. My mercy has considerable limits, and I will run you through with this blade before telling everyone else it was Snow Shinobi that did the deed on the orders of your uncle. Or you could let me and Hatake do our jobs right by protecting you with a side of killing your uncle, so you can rule the country like your father would have wished. Are you so much of a coward that you would hide away in shame behind acting, while knowing that every time you sleep he stares at you with a frown of disappointment in your dreams?" said Vergil, as he saw the bags under Koyuki's eyes from the lack of sleep. She got, and the makeup put on helped cover up the signs of it.
"What do you know about suffering? What do you know about losing someone close to you?" said Koyuki, as she was now crying, and saw Vergil just glaring at her like she was some kind of idiot. "I know enough. I know what it means to be hated since the day of my birth. I know what it's like to be manipulated by someone close to me only to find the guy was a hypocritical bastard. You couldn't have lasted 2 weeks in my shoes, lady, so don't give me shit about what it means to suffer," said Vergil, as he sheathed his blade, got off the ground, and pulled the princess up with him.
"Really?" said Koyuki, seeing him looking around for any enemy forces before looking back at her. "Trust me, you'd be begging for the actress life if you were me during my naive years. Those days when I didn't know why the people of the Leaf wanted to butcher me 6 ways from Sunday," said Vergil, as he motioned for her to follow him, "and meet up with the others." As they walked, they came to a large tunnel, which had a light that was barely seeable, and made their way through it while seeing a line of tracks on the ground covered in ice. Koyuki then told him these were train tracks, which the train ran on during the lesser than cold cycle of snow country, and Vergil soon felt the hairs on the back of his neck rise up in sensing incoming danger. Sure enough, the very train the princess spoke of was behind them, coming towards their person at ramming speed, and forcing the half-devil to run with Koyuki on his back. "We'll never make it. The train is too fast," said Koyuki as she looked behind her and saw the train getting closer with each passing second. "Shut up. It's not over until we're either out of the tunnel or we're run over by the train. So, until either one happens, I don't want you saying such negative things in my ear, and the obvious thing that is currently happening behind us," said Vergil, as he was almost at the end of the tunnel, and had to endure Koyuki's screams of fear with the train inches from running them both over. With a good leap to his left, Vergil managed to get himself and the princess away from being run over by a mere 3 inches of space upon leaping off the tracks onto soft, refreshing snow. It was at this time Koyuki looked at him, and the train in disbelief, like it was some kind of miracle they survived what appeared to be their certain death. In another instant, she tackled Vergil while he was getting up and hugged him while constantly saying, "Thank you," repeatedly for the rescue.
"Maybe things will finally turn around," thought Koyuki. She got off of Vergil, and the snow-covered ground just in time for both of them to witness the train stopping.
Then again, maybe things were getting worse. Not far from them, the film crew along with Kakashi were waiting for them to come over to where they were when the train had slowed down, and be a complete group again. Not wanting to stay separated from them any longer, Vergil picked the princess up. Then he leaped over the train and made his way to Kakashi before telling him what had happened so far. By that point, Sandayu appeared with a small army of rebels wishing to fight against the tyranny of Kazahana Doto, and for the true ruler of Snow Country to take her rightful place on the throne.
"Ignorant fools. Contact the airship and tell them we will be adding a special guest aside from myself," said Dodo, as he pressed the button on the console next to him in the lead train, and the sides of the length of the train fell down to reveal arrow cannons that would shoot multiple arrows at high velocity at the army. Shit, Kakashi. Use an earth jutsu to block the arrows. Now, said Vergil, as his right arm became demonic, and surging with energy before charging forward with a Rasengan forming within it.
Earth style. Earth shield. Jutsu, said Kakashi before slamming his hands down hard through the snow, until he hit dirt and a massive wall rose from the ground protecting the army from the volley of arrows.
What? Damn those leaf shinobi. Dodo, as he looked out his window from the lead train to see Kakashi shield the rebels, and then at Vergil running towards the train with that jutsu in his hands.
It didn't take a genius to understand what the half-devil had planned.
Devil bringer Rasengan, said Vergil, as he made contact with the train moments later, and caused the train to violently explode with all who were in it.
Incredible, thought Koyuki, as she saw the power the boy wielded, and wondered if this was truly the end of her uncle. Again, her hopes were deflated when Roga sneaked up behind the princess, and took off from under Kakashi's nose before the Leaf Junin could stop the kidnapping. Damn. It, said Vergil, as he moved to pursue Roga, who leaped into the air and grabbed a ladder. In sky along the clouds was a massive airship, which were the stuff of rumors in regards to the lost technology that once a common thing in the world, and had become exclusive to Snow Country. It was for that reason, which for various years, Danzo had secretly been trying to get hold of such technology with his root shinobi. But the distance from here to the Leaf made such long-term missions a high risk should the Sandaime caught on to him after Root was officially disbanded, and couldn't risk Snow Shinobi finding out about his actions either. Though Danzo wasn't the only one searching for such technology that was hidden away in Snow Country, as various other shinobi villages had been hired by their feudal lords to find such things like plans for making the airship and the train in order to make their own.
However, the cold climate of Snow Country proved to be a cruel force to be reckoned with, and forced many shinobi to abandon the mission from that alone since not many were equipped to handle such cold weather. Fool, you think the train I was in is the only ace up my sleeve to defeat your band of rebels? Ha, now that I have the princess and the key to my brother's treasure I will finally be unstoppable, said Dodo, as he took the jewel around Koyuki's neck, and saw his niece struggle against Roga.
Damn. It, said Sandayu as he saw the airship taking off, and saw something moving up along the ladder hanging off to the vessel. Who is that? Is that Vergil? Said Kakashi, which was stupid to ask since it obviously was him, and only a Namakase would do something like this to complete the mission.
I better get paid extra for this, thought Vergil, as he was so going to have the Hokage pay him extra for this, then he was going to home, and get his much-needed freak on with his girls.
All of them. You have a... Climbing up the airship, Vergil made sure not to get caught, and entered the behemoth of a vehicle, and found it to be quite impressive. Looking at the designs of the ship shown on the nearby wall to determine where to go, the half-devil found where the brain that was the bridge of the ship was, and went there to find before stopping at the door to peek inside to see Dodo with the princess being restrained by Raga. You have eluded me for too long, my niece. To be honest, I thought you would be easier to kill than your father, but I did not expect my brother's daughter to actually acquire the skills needed to go into hiding, and delay your untimely death, said Dodo, as he grinned at his niece, and held up the jewel that had been on her person for well over a decade.
It just shows how pathetic you are, uncle. You couldn't even capture a little girl or find the secret treasure my dad had in his possession, said Koyuki, as she saw him frown, and moved to backhand her face though he stopped at the last second in thought.
You should consider yourself lucky right now. I could easily strike you down for your insolence like I did your father, my sweet Koyuki. What I will do instead is let you witness the use of your father's so-called treasure by activating it with this jewel, and bring about my complete control over Snow Country, said Dodo, as he saw Koyuki look at him in fear now, and Vergil understood why. Dodo had found the treasure but needed the key, and now had the key in his hands thanks to the return of Snow Country's long-lost princess. "How about we let sleeping dogs lie?" said Vergil, as he had heard enough, and opened the door with his sword drawn. "You! How did you even get on board this ship?" said Roga, as he saw his teammates kill her, and took a step back with the princess still secure in his hands.
You really shouldn't leave your ladders hanging out of your airship. It invites people to just simply come aboard, said Vergil, as he walked slowly towards them, and Roga put a kunai to the Koyuki's throat. Take another step closer and I'll kill the princess, said Roga, as he knew what this boy could do, and it scared him to no end.
Then, kill her. You think I care about a whiny bitchy princess who feels the whole world owes her something just because dear old daddy died, and at the hands of her evil bastard of an uncle? You'd be doing the world a favor in ending the woman's life and put an end to her making crappy movies, said Vergil, as he kept walking towards them, and Roga taking a step back from the advancing half-devil. You're bluffing, said Roga, as he pressed the blade tighter against Koyuki's throat, and seemed to become afraid. Then kill her and find out. If anyone asks, I will simply say Dodo ordered you to kill the princess before I could stop you, and no one would be able to dispute otherwise because it would be true, said Vergil, as he let the tip of his sword scrape the metal floor of the bridge, and the sound it was making further causing a distraction of mentality for Roga, thinking this over while Dodo just looked at him cautiously.
Why, I thought Leaf Shinobi were honorable, said Koyuki, as she glared at Vergil, who gave her a look stating he didn't care, and shrugged slightly to further prove it.
Normal Leaf Shinobi from Konoha are honorable, but I'm a half-devil, and a devil can never be called an honorable person, said Vergil, as he looked at Koyuki, Roga, and then at Dodo before back to the princess. Waiting for the right moment. And he got it. Faster than either anyone could see, Vergil threw Yamato right at the Snow Shinobi's face, and the impact of the blade going through the man's face caused Roga to drop the kunai and smash the glass on the bridge window. The rush of air swarmed around Dodo, Vergil, and Koyuki, with only the princess on the ground, while Vergil calmly looked at the woman's uncle scowling at the half-devil.
I thought you said devils weren't honorable, said Dodo, as he put his arm near his face to keep the cruel cold winds and snow from biting into his face.
I'm half of one. While that half is not honorable, the other half of me is, and I choose to embrace the honorable half right now, said Vergil, as he recalled Yamato to his hand before sheathing it, and brought out Grim Reaper to his right hand.
So you were acting this whole time, said Dodo, as he saw Koyuki moving slowly away from them, and was just as surprised as him.
I've had a lot of practice growing up and fooling people with my acting until it was time to stop acting. As for your niece, she had not idea it was an act, which made it all the more believable, and the deception needed to kill your shinobi all the more easier, said Vergil, as he walked in a fluid manner like before, and kept most of Koyuki out of Dodo's line of sight.
I'm sure you have, but it won't change the fact that I cannot be stopped, and this jewel is my means of ensuring my survival, said Dodo, as he showed Vergil the jewel, and the half-devil looked at before shrugging. Keep it, I have no interest in fake jewelry, said Vergil, as he saw Dodo, and sensed Koyuki looking at him in disbelief. Fake, this isn't a fake. Everyone knows my niece wears this thing every day and never lets it out of her sight, said Dodo, as he assumed it was another act, and was not going to fall for another one of Vergil's tricks. Says you. Can you be sure? You forget, Hitaki Kakashi knows about the jewel too, and I wouldn't put it past the man to pull a switch on her. Just in case, said Vergil, letting out a cruel chuckle and smirk that made Dodo sweat a little at his words. Kakashi. Of course. He was here in Snow Country once before with the Yondaime. He must have learned about her being my niece and swapped the jewel for a fake one. But what if the boy is lying? I can't figure out what's going on inside his head, thought Dodo, as he looked at Vergil, then Koyuki, and then Vergil again while trying to find out if this was indeed a bluff.
In any case, I think it is in the best interest of Princess Koyuki, Sandayu-san, and the people of Snow Country, that I end your life now. Goodbye and good riddance, said Vergil as he moved quickly, and stabbed Dodo right in the gut with Grim Reaper before arching up to slice the man into two. Retracting his devil bringer of a weapon, Vergil turned around to face the stunned woman behind him, and held out his hand with the princess slowly reaching out to take it, with only a second of hesitation before being pulled off the ground. For a moment, Koyuki did not look at him, or rather she slapped him across the face before yelling at him for being such an arrogant bastard, in playing with her life like it was a piece to be played in a chess game.
I don't suppose you have anything to say in your defense, said Koyuki, as she finished her chewing out, and waited for the boy to crumple under her anger.
Most usually did. Actually, I do. Are you done bitching yet? Said Vergil calmly. He wasn't among those that did crumpled.
What? Said Koyuki, surprised by how he didn't seem even affect him. Are you done bitching yet? I hate repeating myself, said Vergil calmly like her slap was no big deal. Yes, said Koyuki, as she feared he would turn his sword, or arm thing on her like he had done with the others. Good, now follow me, said Vergil, as he took her hand, and began walking to the bridge before heading to a potential escape hatch.
They barely got 3 steps when a pulse of demonic power hit Vergil, and forced the boy to stop in his tracks to gather his thought. It was close, of that Vergil could sense, but it was not on the ship, and more than likely in the nearby mountain region, they flying over. What is it? Said Koyuki curiously before looking around. It's nothing, Princess Koyuki. At best we better get off this airship and quickly before the nothing does indeed become a something, said Vergil, as he moved towards a nearby exit to the outside, and braced for the cold wind trying to tear them apart.
It's a long way down, said Koyuki, as she looked down with him, and knew no amount of snow could cushion their fall.
Ye of little faith, my dear. Shadow clone jutsu, said Vergil, as he created a small army of shadow clones and motioned to the dangling ladder. You're insane. You can't expect to lower me down simply by using the ladder and your shadow clones, said Koyuki, seeing them getting into position.
It's either that or you stay with me while I crash this airship into the nearby mountain so my teammate will know where you are. Here, take this flare gun, and shoot into the air after I crash the airship. When the flare explodes, the symbol of the leaf will appear, and alert Kakashi of your location, said Vergil, as he gave her the item, and saw her lower herself down the ladder towards the shadow clones attached at the bottom of it. Vergil-san, I want to say I'm sorry for slapping you, being so spoiled, and just plain, well, bitchy seems to be the appropriate word. Maybe after this is over, we can have a fresh start, and be friends, said Koyuki, as she saw him raise an eyebrow at the offer, but the smirk on Vergil's face told her he would consider it, and gave her shoulder a quick pat of understanding.
Of course. Now your freedom awaits you, princess, said Vergil, as he bowed slightly, and left to head back to the bridge to alter its course. With Kakashi. Can you track the airship? Said Sandayu to Kakashi, as they along with the rebels were now trying to find the princess, and Vergil before Dodo did something horrible to either one.
Not by my usual standards, but fortunately the weather has cleared up recently, and I can look up for the airship if I reach a certain point, said Kakashi, as he looked for Vergil's chakra signature since it was quite powerful, and not easy to hide when in combat.
Are they at least nearby? Said Sandayu in the hopes they were. Maybe? I think I see. There's the airship, said Kakashi, looking into the distance near a large mountainous region.
Moving to the spot Kakashi saw the airship, they stopped when the airship had changed its course, and crashed into the closest mountain before exploding in a great ball of fire. Running towards the destruction, Kakashi along with Sandayu, and the rebels were glad to see a flare being shot into the air away from the wreckage. Princess Koyuki, said Sandayu, as he ran more than he had in long time since he was a young man, and his bones didn't hurt so much from old age creeping up on him.
Sandayu, said Koyuki, as she hugged the man, and was glad to see a familiar face once more.
Where's Vergil? Said Kakashi, as he looked around for the Namikaze, and didn't see him anywhere.
Vergil killed Dodo and Roga before getting me off the airship before heading back to the bridge to crash it. I don't know if he got off the airship or not, said Koyuki, as she wanted to cry now. And for the first time in a long time, it was real crying. Oh no, thought Kakashi, as he summoned his tracking dogs, and had them instantly spread to find the Namikaze with the rebels helping in the process. With Vergil. Ow. Okay. Note to self. Don't crash airships into mountains. They tend to blow up and send you into mountains soon afterwards, said Vergil to himself before getting off the ground and cracking his back. You are a descendant of Sparda, said a demonic voice not far from Vergil, who turned to see a chained three-headed dog surrounded by snow and generating ice around its body.
Well, that's something you don't see every day. An actual three-headed dog. Can I keep you? You'd definitely get me the first place ribbon at the dog show coming this spring, said Vergil, as he saw the demonic animal's head plus the other two growling at him, and looked ready to tear his head off.
Insolent fool. You may possess the blood of Sparda, but you are just a shell of what he was, and nothing more. I'll wipe you out from existence, said the demonic dog as it roared in anger, and the room shook with ice falling from the ceiling above. Is that so? Well, before you grant the world such an illustrious honor, would you care to tell me your name? Said Vergil as he summoned his shadowy doppelganger, who drew his sword, and while the real Namikaze brought out his own.
I am Cerberus, once a guardian to the underworld. I have been lost throughout time to be stuck in this miserable place while using my power every so often to freeze the people living around this land to death, said Cerberus, as its power to freeze nearly covered the entire room, and Vergil in the process had the boy leapt away. I see. Tell you what, Cerberus, I'll free you from here after I win, and take your soul to become my devil bringer. How does that sound? Said Vergil, as he saw Cerberus's three heads looking at him with narrowed eyes, and growling at him with deadly fury.
You have to kill me first, boy. I doubt you have the skill, said Cerberus.
Then attack me and find out if I meet your standards like I've been doing with my own family, said Vergil, as he gave Cerberus a swordsman's salute, and prepared to fight the large demon. Cerberus chuckled at Vergil before charging the young Namikaze, who ducked out of the way with his doppelganger doing the same, and with the half-devil instantly moving to slice through the demon's feet while his shadow of death moved to strike the head. It was not easy, as the demonic ice and armor around Cerberus made it difficult to harm the demon dog. Cerberus wasn't going to make it easy on them either, as the former guardian of the underworld unleashed its ice powers on Vergil, and the half-devil had to use his speed to his advantage in order to prevent himself from becoming an everlasting blood smear on the cave walls. His shadow of death devil bringer worked with him in moving all over the place to cause Cerberus misdirection despite the dog demon have three heads and knew it would need to use all of them to protect itself from Yamato's blade. Though despite having three heads, it was the speed Vergil possessed, which proved they were not better than one, and his doppelganger too.
Cerberus howled in pain from Yamato cutting through its skin and in anger at missing his target throughout this battle. What was even worse for the demonic dog was its two other heads had been destroyed by Vergil, and was now slumped on the ground, defeated. You are indeed Sparda's descendant. To think I was defeated by the likes of you and his bloodline for a second time in my long life, said Cerberus, as he could move, and looked down at Vergil while the shadow of death was recalled.
Hey, don't be down like that. You put up a pretty good fight worthy of your station. I can see why you were declared guardian of the underworld. It's been a long time since I had a good fight and you brought it to the table, said Vergil, as he saw Cerberus grin at him, or as much as a demonic dog could grin without it looking like it was about to bite someone in half.
You are honorable, just like he was back when I first encountered him. You said before the start of this fight that you would take my soul with you in order to free me from this place. Is that offer still available? Said Cerberus, as it didn't want to be here anymore, and wanted to be free again like it had once before. Yes, said Vergil as he extended his right hand and saw Cerberus glow blue.
Then take my soul. You have my blessing, said Cerberus, as it let out a tired sigh of relief, and the giant demonic dog's body vanished into an icy blue orb of energy before it fell into Vergil's hands to reform itself into a three-pronged ice nunchakus.
Very nice, thought Vergil while smirking, as he tested them out on the area around him, and found them to be very effective in his hands. Of course he would continue to practice with them for good measure. The wall in the corner collapsed to reveal stairs leading up and out of the room, with Vergil taking it without looking back. After what felt like hours of walking, the half-devil found the exit, and found himself surprisingly at the base of the mountain. Not really caring how that really happened, Vergil walked away from the mountain, and soon found the others currently looking for him with Kakashi's tracking dogs. Vergil, are you all right? Said Kakashi as he saw the half-devil smirk and reveal his new weapon.
Yep, and I got myself a new demon weapon. Say hello to Cerberus, said Vergil, as he showed them its ice-like power, and they were awed by it.
Was that the source of the unnatural cold Snow Country was having on occasion? Said Sandayu, as he saw Vergil nod, and then explain his battle with Cerberus.
While Snow Country will have its cruel winters, they will no longer be so cruel to cause agonizing death and suffering upon your people. Also, Kakashi-san, could you give the princess her jewel back? Said Vergil, as he saw Kakashi nod, and take out Koyuki's jeweled necklace before handing it to the woman. Sorry I swapped it, but I couldn't risk it falling into Dodo's hands, and use it for what he had planned in regards to your father's treasure, said Kakashi, as he knew like Dodo did that this jewel was the key to the treasure Koyuki's father had hidden away, and what the man's brother had killed him to find. It's okay. I think I would like to see my father's treasure though, and what this jewel was meant to be used for it, said Koyuki, as she took the jewel, and followed Vergil to the area he saw where Dodo was no doubt going to take her on his airship. Interesting, said Vergil, as he saw Koyuki put the jewel in the slot designed specifically for this massive technological wonder, and saw the sun piercing through the clouds onto the massive monolith of mirrors around him still covered in ice.
Once the jewel was in place, the item glowed with energy, and the machine sprang to life with power, with the ice melting off the mirrors, with the sun shining off of them. With that happening, the temperature was getting warmer, the snow melting, and surprisingly the ground underneath, the snow was grassy green. The treasure. It's a machine that brings about spring, said Koyuki, as she saw the lush landscape before her, and realized why her father spent so much time on this. He wanted to end the bitter cold of Snow Country to turn it into something wonderful. And with Cerberus no longer here to make things difficult, the land will be prosperous, and bring your people happiness with the wealth they will now possess, said Vergil, as he saw the life once beneath the cold snow surface reveal itself to him, and it made the young half-devil smile at the sight. Life finds a way. Snow Country capital several days later.
The celebration of Princess Koyuki's return to Snow Country was a big hit, with people singing, dancing, and drinking themselves stupid. Vergil was given the title, Knight of Snow, which made him an honorary citizen of the country, and was welcome back anytime for whatever reason. However, the day after the celebration would be the day Vergil would have to head home to the Leaf, and give an official report to the Hokage.
Along with an alliance treaty, trading right with Fire Country, and future mission for the Leaf Shinobi of Konoha, should the need arise.
Jackpot, said Vergil to himself, as he looked at Princess Koyuki not far away signing autographs for kids before she looked at him, and gave him a wink before showing the script in her hands that made his eyes go wide for a second.
Isha Icha Paradise. The movie. Something told Vergil that he would be very much involved in that production, and was looking forward to it when shooting the film started. Jackpot indeed. Chapter 9. Insurrection.
When Vergil got home, his priority to reporting to the Hokage came first, as he entered her office with Kakashi, and gave a detailed mission report on the events that took place in Snow Country. Handing Tsunade both the alliance and trade rights papers he had been given to him by the princess actress of the country. Tsunade nearly flipped out when Vergil mentioned the whole thing with Cerberus causing problems for the people there and how he fought the demonic dog before earning his soul to use as a weapon. The female Hokage was impressed by the sight of Cerberus in weapon form, but she scowled at his demonstration, which with a simple touch froze her sake, and this type of sake was special when warm.
Ignoring his grinning face since she did ask for a simple demonstration, Tsunade told him collect his pay, and prepare an official written mission report to have on record. Vergil just nodded before leaving to do just that, as he collected his payment for services during the mission rendered, and was returning home to the Namikaze estates.